Welcome to the Vision Profiles podcast. Join us, all dedicated Apple Vision Pro users, as we dive into everything from hardware and software to apps and the latest updates from the world of Apple Vision Pro. I'm Marty Gensius, faculty member at a Midwest University, podcaster, and Apple product fan.
I'm Daniel Burkholder, a software engineer and technologist currently immersed in generative AI and AR and VR technologies.
And I am Dave Ginsburg. I am the host of In Touch with iOS podcast. I am passionate about technology, especially Apple, and use it in real-world experience. 27-year veteran in the IT professional and iPhone subject matter expert. I learn new things about the Vision Pro every day.
Well, just a reminder for folks who might be listening to this on the podcast stream, you can watch us live on Monday nights at around 9 p.m. at youtube.com/@visionprofiles and catch us live, or you can catch the video stream later on after I finish producing the show sometime later tonight. Or you can catch us later on any podcatcher and any audio version of the show that you like. All the show notes will be in there, including the links to the things that we talk about in the show. So that's what's new. Hey, let's start off because we know we're going to talk about a beta that just came out this afternoon. But before we get to that, anything new that you've been playing with? And maybe if it's something we're going to talk about later on the show, that's cool. But anything new this week with you and Vision Pro?
I did watch the F1 trailer, and
okay,
it was a pretty cool immersive video for the most part. I didn't think it was as immersive as some of the other content that was already out there, but let's say they added something else that I hadn't seen since I believe I saw it yesterday. So it was okay, but that movie does look pretty cool. Yeah.
Daniel, anything new with you?
Not much. I mean, I saw the F1 thing as well. I would have liked to see them have done something more with it. A little underwhelming, but it was still cool. Otherwise, I linked an app I've been playing around with today, mostly of a little RC car, immersive RC car game. That'll be really fun.
Yeah, but, I saw that.
Otherwise, no, not really. Just kind of, but using it a lot more lately. I guess that's probably the only difference.
Yeah, I see that. I saw the RC car app on Reddit, I think, and it's like, I got to remember these things. And then you put it in there, and it's like, oh yeah, this will be cool. We did something different. We're adding into the feed Vision Pro Notes. It's going to be part of the feed of Vision Profiles. It's just short news. It's like 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most. And whether I do it solo or I have, some of our co-hosts to be able to do it with me, we're going to try and put out some of the news that comes out between shows for you, so you know what we're going to talk about in the next show. And you can expect it. Well, we did one last night for this morning. You can expect one Wednesday morning or really late Wednesday night. Really late Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, or really, really late Thursday night, and again, Friday morning. So basically it'll hit on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And there'll be some of those that won't even come up because there won't be news to talk about over that period of time. But I'd like to try and get some of that out to you in short little spots and not ruin what we're going to talk about on the show, but just get you excited to remind you coming up next Monday, we'll have more people talking about whatever the news item is we're going to share. Today, I spent most of the day at home in my office tinkering around, and I guess I went on Reddit and I saw that beta, the developer beta of visionOS 26 beta 2 was released, and jumped on it. 3.1 gigabytes, something like that, 3.2 gigabytes. So it's not a full piece, but I'm curious, if you've loaded it yet and any experiences with it.
I just loaded it within the last hour before we started recording here, so didn't get to see too much, but it seemed like it's not installed pretty smoothly. It always takes a little time when it's that big of a file, but most part it installed properly. Didn't have much time to really look at it beyond anything else, unless what they're saying in the for as far as our article here about it.
Yeah, Daniel, did you try it?
Yeah, I've had it on for the last couple hours, and I mean, it definitely seems more stable to me. And actually, I felt Safari was notably more stable, which was nice. And I know I saw some posts of there's some new modes in the meditation app. I haven't checked them out personally yet, but I did see them on Reddit. Me personally, I was having some issues with Mac Virtual Display, which I'd seen a lot of people were too. And it seems more consistent to initiate the session so far, which is good.
Yeah, we should talk about the Ghost in the Machine. Eric Bolden's not with us tonight as we record because he's had thunderstorms come through his area and knock the power out. So of course, he's the trooper. So he sends me a message. Oh, by the way, the new new beta seems to have fixed the issues with Mac Virtual Display. Very stable and much faster. So what you're saying, Daniel, I think, that's something that I know Eric was real concerned about in terms of Mac Virtual Display use. I went in to look for Jupyter. I still cannot find the Jupyter environment with it. And other than that, it was stable. I was grateful with this new beta that I didn't have to redo my Persona. And so it'll be interesting to follow over the next couple of days. The article that we have linked in the show notes basically says it came out. And then when you finally get down to the bottom of the article, it says, hey, we don't really know what's new with it yet. So you're probably getting more news from us right now than at least the sources that we have, particularly Daniel saying that it seems like there might be some new environments in meditation. I'll have to check that over the show after the show to see if that's the case. And then information from both Eric and Daniel about there not being any, that Mac Virtual Display has gotten better. And then me not finding Jupyter. I don't do a lot of environments, but I thought that would be the one thing I'd check to see if it was in beta 1 and I missed it, but it's not in beta 1, not in beta 2. Okay. So, PSV2 controllers. No, let's not that. Let's go with Fast Company's article, and then we'll get to the PS2 P2VR2. It's PSVR. We did a little tease on this in the Vision Pro notes this morning. And we had somebody who watched it, because I mentioned the magic word about PSVR2, and the guy was very kind and sent some notes back in terms of comments. But this Fast Company article, kind of neat. visionOS 26 proves Apple isn't treating the Vision Pro like a hobby. And the author does a nice job of explaining its rollout. Does he even talk about the cost of it in here?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see it. It's about paragraph. 3 or 4 paragraphs. Yeah, second section.
Yeah. Harry McCracken's a very good journalist.
Yeah. And any thoughts on this so far?
Go ahead.
Well, if true, like how I've seen the Vision Pro is the lead up to it. There was a bunch of technology, implemented in the iOS devices that to me didn't make a lot of sense. And then when you put them all in the Vision Pro, it's like, oh, that's why they were doing spatial auto. That's why they were doing this. That's why they were doing that. Because it didn't make much sense on the phone. And so
Mhm.
maybe I read this as almost maybe like if true, it's like this isn't like just a little bit here, a little bit there. We're playing a very long game. With respect to the entire package, right? Because this form factor is really the problem. It's not the software. I mean, we need more software, but the form factor is the biggest problem. So if they can get the software nailed while the form factor isn't that great right now, I feel like that's their plan.
Mhm.
David, do you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with this. It's not a hobby. I never thought it was, um, but just going through the article as I just got a chance to look at it here just a little few minutes ago, it's it's definitely not something that it should be considered that it is something. I agree with Daniel. Yeah, the form factor can be tough. A lot of people have challenges with it being so big and sitting on your head, and um, but I don't think this is something that they're going to continue on with Vision Pro. I mean, you obviously see it with this new version of the OS with Vision OS 26. They're all in with this. This isn't going to go anywhere. At least now.
Yeah, they talk about numerous technical obstacles still stand in the way of anyone releasing comfy, affordable, power efficient glasses that rival Vision Pro's capabilities.
Yeah.
So it kind of saying everybody's trying to put their foothold in certain things. You know, we got Meta with glasses, we've got other Samsung with their glasses, and everybody's trying to put their foothold out. But there's, you know, he talks about there's too many technical obstacles for them to be that
Yeah.
comfortable with doing it. It's a very nice article and very kind of comforting to
Yeah.
read. I've gotten more and more to enjoy Fast Company. I know Chuck Joyner always seems to find articles out of it. And I just
Yeah, I
found
do
this in
too.
a search and it came up as Fast Company. I'm like, okay, well, let me take a look at this. Particularly the title, I think was compelling that
Hmm.
it's not just a hobby. It's something bigger than that. Um, so yeah. Um, okay, let's talk about PSVR2 controllers. And Daniel, I'm going to rely heavily on you with this, and I'll share
Yeah.
some of the feedback that we got with it. But couple of articles on this. Uh, we talked a little bit about on Pro Notes, and there was a YouTube video done by Nady. It's in our links. That's really good. Yeah, Nathi. It's really good, and it takes you through the different things that it can do. But then some general articles. Did you have a chance to look at any of this, and was any of this reassuring to you, Daniel?
Not these in particular, but in since the beta has come out, I've been following in different discords and whatnot, and seeing that already there is support for these controllers for what's it called, ALVR, which allows wireless Steam VR to the Vision Pro, which is also commonly used for probably the majority of the headsets that matter in the market. Um, and it was already working on the Vision Pro before, but they added controller support, the Sony VR controller support in like 2 days, 3 days maybe. Same thing with there's another one that wasn't out on the Vision Pro yet, but was been working in the background called Ivory. Same deal. PS or not PSVR, Steam VR, wireless Steam VR adapter software. So it's really reassuring that they got it working so quick and so effectively. so really happy to see that. I think we will see you will see people doing a lot more VR gaming, PC VR gaming on the Vision Pro once these are just generally available to buy. I mean, support's already there. I haven't got my hands on a set of these controllers to try them yet, but when I do, I'll definitely be reporting back.
I was impressed with, and I didn't think about this, but when you look at the Nathy video, um, he's using the controllers not just for playing games. And that's what I thought it was all about. He's using it as devices that can move objects around. So, I have a Meta and I like using the controllers for Meta. I know how to do it. It's very simple. But the idea of being able to move windows around without having to deal with the pinch and the draw and stuff like that. There was one case where in his video he shows activating all of the apps that are like jiggling on a page and just dragging and dropping them into groups using the controllers. And I thought, oh man, I just thought this was for games. I'm not a games person, and thankfully, somebody who listened to the pro notes pointed out Bite Size Society put a note, just a quick note from a perspective of a PlayStation user. I guess I used PS2. He said PS5 games, not PS2 games, are typically what the PSVR2 controllers are used with. And it's also PSVR2. Tangentially, there's an adapter Sony sells for Windows PC, which allows usage of your PSVR2 headset. And they should just call it like Stallion or something.
Mm-hmm.
Not these, 3C3PO,
It's Sony. They
Art.
can't do that. Come on.
Yeah.
Look at their camera lineup.
Yeah. So, which allows usage of your PSVR2 headset and controllers on PC. And this way you can play, for instance, Half-Life Alyx on your PC through your Sony VR hardware. And a stale piece of information, the PSVR1, and it worked with the PlayStation 4. So that is what Bite Size Society contributed in terms of a comment. And I appreciate that stuff in terms as much as it clears my head around it. But I really wish I wasn't dealing with license plates to describe objects that I need to work with. So some good articles in here if you're interested. Folks, here's how to play, how PlayStation VR2 controllers work with Apple Vision Pro. Then you have Nathy's video, which we have linked to on YouTube, and doing some real cool stuff with this. And he goes through a whole section of things like widgets, cinema, more widget stuff, spatial scenes, Vision Pro control, personas. So all of that is part of I don't know, how long is it? It's a 10-minute video, but he covers a lot of territory with it. And then finally, video. Here's the first look at the using Apple Vision Pro with PlayStation VR. This comes from 9 to 5 Mac. Also links to the Nathy video. And then there's this short video about Quest gets a new rival in Vision Pro, now supporting PSVR2 controllers and more in visionOS 26. And it's actually one of the segments in this video which covers a bunch on visionOS 26, but particularly the controller part is the second segment in that. So that was a lot of what was going on news-wise in terms of the devices. And then the second topic we'll get to in a minute, there's a lot of talk about was the F1 video. So Um, oh, and then there's another one I put in there, Road to VR, that also has a first look at PSVR2 Sense controllers working on Vision Pro. So lots of articles on that covering it. Any final comments, guys? Dave, you're not much of a gamer.
I, I'm not much of a gamer. Yeah, I don't know if I can really give much comment on this, but it's interesting to see, were we getting some more external hardware like this?
Yeah,
Be curious to hear what
yeah.
Daniel has to say once he gets his hands on them.
The story I read about it was that, or maybe it was in Reddit. I mean, who knows? But I think it was a story where they said basically these controllers you can't get. You can go to like GameStop and maybe get some used ones, but those are being bought up. Somebody
Yeah.
said I bought a set of them for like $75, but now you're seeing them for like 150. You can go on eBay, but I'm not a big eBay person. It seems dicey to me. And so I won't be getting them through there. But
Yeah.
the optimistic point of view is that these will be sold alongside other supplemental hardware that you can buy in your Apple store.
Yeah, they're
Which,
gonna have
like
to sell them.
you can get like Logitech keyboards and stuff like that. Well, this will be another one of the things that can be sold either in the physical stores or maybe on the online stores coming up sometime in the fall, just in time for
Mhm.
Christmas. So, and the holidays.
Christmas.
Christmas. Um, two articles that highlighted this concept of personas being different. And have we all done our new personas?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you now all have sides of your heads,
Mm-hmm.
whereas you didn't have them in previous versions.
And I have a little more double chin.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah. Okay, yeah. I guess you can't put a big bushy beard on you to cover those double chins. So
I could
this is
wear a fake one.
you could wear a fake
Yeah.
one, yeah. Um, I just saw my daughter in a show, Fiddler on the Roof, that's doing
Mhm.
a run locally, and it's all done with college kids. And the number of fake beards in there, I just couldn't stop counting. So I guess you could do a
Yeah.
fake beard with a Vision Pro. This guy apparently looks like he has a real beard.
Yeah.
Um, he looks like one of those magnetic. Remember the guys that it's like their faces, and you take a little magnet underneath it, and you can drag the little iron filings around and give them hair.
Oh,
I forgot what that's called, and I don't know why my head went there. But talking about new personas and the difference in personas,
Yeah, it's a big. It was definitely a big improvement from the Vision OS 2.5.
an interesting article here about Vision Pro's new personas are a big improvement, but how will they scale to smaller headsets? I thought that was interesting. I don't know if they will we don't even know what the smaller headset is going to be like, whether it's going to
Mhm.
even bother with personas or if it's just going to be a device that's a media device and not necessarily a social media device. I'm not too worried about the resizing of them, but that was an interesting article that came out.
Mhm.
Have you gotten any reactions from other people about your personas, or is it just people in the bubble?
Family. I got chuckles.
Yeah. Daniel, anybody?
no, I mean,
Okay.
I regularly take meetings in mine, and I mean, I mean, they all agree it's definitely an improvement. Still uncanny, but definite improvement.
Yeah.
Well, in my household, we have one of those electronic picture frames,
Mm.
and we have the whole family hooked up to it, and they can submit pictures. So my daughter does it regularly. My son generally puts things on there to shock us that are not related to our family, but he'll throw them up anyways. And I put up my personas, which freak out my wife. She doesn't like it. She says, take that damn thing off. Of course, I don't. And I just kind of leave it up and it comes up. I also did some AI generated me's. I used some service where I put a couple of my pictures in there and then it generated like me if I was on Abbey Road Beatles album, and me if I was a cowboy in Montana. And occasionally those, me as an astronaut, occasionally those will come up on the screen. But she's not any more impressed with my persona because I've got this new version up there. I like it. I think it's pretty cool, actually. Much better rendition of me. Unfortunately, the older versions kind of softened up your face, so all of those age marks just didn't happen. But this new one captures those age marks really clearly. So every blemish, every scar, every shows up in your persona, and you can't make it. I don't think you can make it any smoother or soften it. There are some settings, though, in personas where you can change aspects of it in terms of lighting and things like that. So maybe, no, I just don't want to deal with creating another persona. And I think we've given them enough time.
Yeah.
Interesting article about Apple patents air gesture cursor control for the Mac, Vision Pro, and future smart glasses. So more on gestures and cursors. They have the build for smart gesture recognition. We've seen some of this in relationship to what they thought they were going to do with the MacBook. But this patent was filed around a new way of doing gesture controls on the trackpad or an in-air gesture as possible. So maybe another reason to say that this is just not a hobby.
Yeah.
Daniel, any thoughts? Dave?
I think the interesting thing for me out of these is not like is how it doesn't explain how they do it, but it gives me insight into the thinking involved, right? Like especially there's one diagram where it has all the points on the hand, and then thinking about like how they move to capture, and you need to correct that movement and be predictive, right? Like lots of heuristics involved, dealing with the hand occluding itself, right? Like if you're doing like a pinch but the rest of the palm is in the way. And not that any of this necessarily goes into that, but it just gets me thinking, and it's just interesting and fascinating there.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, we'll keep searching for these things, or they'll keep coming to us as people are, like Patently Apple is the site that probably does all, I mean, that's what they do. They look for what patents Apple files and looks at the possibilities with it. Okay, let's talk about another story that we hinted at early on. I know Dave said that you spent more time with it. You went and did the Hot Lap Immersive.
Yes.
That sounds, I'm going to say it, that sounds like something you'd get at a strip club. A Hot Lap Immersive. Man, we got a show title.
Most racing terms sound like that.
What'd you say? Most, Daniel,
Most
what did you
racing
say?
terms sound like that.
Like that, yeah. Hot
I
Lap
mean, heck,
Immersive.
we got drag racing. Come on.
Yeah, I think the show title is going to be "How Much for a Hot Lap Immersive." Um, but yeah, so this came out last week. We didn't have a lot of time to play with it once
Yeah.
it came out. Dave, there's two articles I think that I have here. One
Mhm.
from Apple Magazine
Yep.
and one from Apple Insider.
Mhm.
Any thoughts? I mean, if it's done
Yeah.
anything for me, it's gotten me interested in seeing the movie.
Yeah, I want to see the movie. I heard it's hard to get tickets. There's the IMAX is selling out pretty
Yeah,
fast, so might be a while so we can get tickets to see it in the theater. But the fact of the matter is, I really thought it was really cool to be able to be right into the cockpit. I was moving around and taking a look up and down, like you normally do in the immersive video to see where you are. I mean, that steering wheel was very cool, and having
hmm
that digital display there that shows them everything that's going on with the car, uh, and uh, and you could see the camera in the little image there where it was mounted onto the right side there.
right.
That gave it a good perspective to what you're seeing. And then just actually the wide views you get to see with as he's going around the racetrack. That was I thought that was pretty cool as well. Again, I wasn't overly excited about it, but I thought enough that I got a good sense of the immersive videos. I mean, there are so many others that we've been able to experience that are out in the catalog now that I thought were much better when it comes to the judging it based on the immersive videos. When you go back to the YouTube movie, that was probably by far one of the worst ones. But
hmm
this one is definitely much better than that when it comes to immersive video. But I think it was a good start. I'd be curious to see where they go from here with you're just showing it as a trailer. Could they come up with a full length feature movie that's going to give you immersive videos for the entire movie?
Yeah,
I
I
think that's going
was.
to take time because of how much production is involved with of recording uh, immersive video like this.
Well, could you see? I mean, they do this now with some, like the Marvel releases. You can get them
Yeah.
in
Mm-hmm.
3D. I mean, that's not
3D.
necessarily immersive, but it
No.
still
Yeah.
would use
Still
some
pretty
of the
good.
same. It would be flattening out some of the technology. Daniel, did you get a chance to look at this?
Yeah, it was fun to watch. I wish I had more expectation. Like I wish it was done in the daytime. I wish they had maybe like
Yeah.
had different camera angle, or maybe a real head angle. But I get it. I know everything is real tight in
Hmm.
there. It probably couldn't even mount it on his head if they wanted to. Um,
Right.
but one thing I thought to note was really notable is how surprisingly stable the video was.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
I
I
agree.
feel like they heavily post-processed that because there's no way it was that stable out of the camera. Even with any gimbal or whatever attached as well, like, no way.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
a little queasy. I mentioned this, I think, on Dave's show last week. There was points where I
Mhm.
got a little queasy, and there in the video in the view frame, you can see what is a stabilizer bar or some sort of bar that cuts across it, and that stayed in focus pretty much. And I kind of think it grabbed the camera focus just because of the depth of field issues. But if you tried to look past that, it wasn't as clear as one would expect. And when I look past it often, I'd get a little vertigo-y with it.
Hmm.
So I would go back to the stabilization bar. Hey Dave, did you watch it and look for the speed that he was actually driving that thing at?
Yeah, I was looking at the display. It was hard to see
Yeah.
speed. Well, it was over 200 miles an hour, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I don't think it was. I don't know.
You don't think so? Okay.
I thought when he's pulling into the pit, he's down to
All
like
right.
35 or I thought it
Oh,
was
right,
like
right.
close to 70 or 80. I don't think
Okay.
it was. I
So
don't
he
know.
wasn't going. No, I
Yeah.
could be wrong.
Those of you who haven't seen it yet and go and see it, take a look at the steering wheel and see what you can figure out. It's
Yeah.
For me, it was over the right side of the panel on the steering wheel that center panel was where either it was the RPMs or it was the the miles per hour
Mm-hmm.
that was showing up on that panel. So yeah, I was curious about that. So I went back
Yep.
and watched it a second time and just focused on that piece. I want to see the movie. I guess I'm going to have to go in and get some tickets if I can. I think,
Yeah.
in Chicago, in the larger cities, it's maybe harder to get them. I'm not sure how
I haven't tried.
big of a sellout Akron is going to be, or Cuyahoga Falls is going to be where we have.
Assuming they show it.
Oh yeah, they're already got pre-sale tickets up there, and
they do. Okay, and they have IMAX.
Yeah, my son wanted me to go see 28 Years Later, and I was like, no, no real interest. He was going to take me for for Father's Day. And I was like, no, not real interest. And so instead we saw Ballerina this weekend, which was, the body count was good. I was happy. But I really am holding out for going to see F1 with my son and my daughter. And we'll see. Maybe I'll just have to buy the tickets and say, this is when I'm going. So yeah, I'm excited about the movie and hopeful about the movie. Did you take a look at this? I didn't get to spend time with it, but this is a Reddit post about 1,000 supercars in your living room. And of course, the feed is, if you're watching the YouTube video of this, you'll see some of the feed. And it looks like a interesting kind of opportunity where you can go through and you can get information about these different supercars. You can open them up and walk around them in your living room or your open space.
Huh.
And it's currently in test flight.
Oh, okay.
I think I actually
sure.
DM'd somebody to ask for a link as test flight.
I say it might be a tough one to get into.
Yeah. Any reaction to that, Daniel?
I sleep. I'm not that interested, honestly. I mean,
he's not a big car guy.
Cars are cool. Well, I mean, I got two Miatas. Like, I'm rewiring one right now, and whatever. I mean, and I like doing autocross on track days. But like, I don't. I care more about what people have built necessarily than supercars. Mostly because they'll also be very unattainable for me, honestly. And not to say that they aren't cool as hell to see. But I don't know. I was just kind of like, yep. It felt like looking at it in a video game, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not interested. Like, I'll go wait to go see it at like a Cars and Coffee or something like that.
So is that like, to me, some of it looks like Beautiful Things, the app where you can just generate you can pull down three-dimensional objects. These just happen to be supercars. And spin them around, open them up as big as you want. But this also seems to have information linked to it too. So there is some enthusiast behind it. Yeah.
And I can envision the certain kind of car guy who will, who has the 911 poster on their wall, and they will have it permanently affixed somewhere in their living room, and and they're just like, oh, and they just not think about it all the time. And yep, it's cool, guys. But I don't know. Maybe actually get out there and go really drive for once.
Okay. Well, so much for those listeners.
Don't like car guys.
Yeah, in our town we have like car festivals where everybody brings their cars out. They park them on a long street, and then people walk around and look at them all day long. And
we have them too.
People are into that. So, God bless them.
Downtown locations in my town, they have other cars out in the train parking lot, the train station parking lot.
Yeah. So if you don't like cars, how about space stations? This article about you can fly around Vast's Haven 1 space station using Apple Vision Pro. And Vast is working on what might be the first commercial space station in low Earth orbit. Let's hope it's not too low in Earth orbit. To get the public excited about the station's launch as soon as 1 year from now, the company released a VR fly-through. It's called Haven 1, is the small orbit space station, launched on SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. And the Vast fly-through takes you through an artistic visual of what Haven 1 will look like when it's complete. So,
Can you install this?
I don't know.
'Cause I don't see a link.
Yeah, they're not providing a link to this.
Yeah.
Which means if they're trying to get the folks excited about it, it's not going to be it's going to be hard for them to get excited about it if they can't even get the link to it. That is available on Meta, Steam, and yes, Apple platforms.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, it's there.
Oh, it is?
Yep, I'll put it in our show notes. I found it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I click on some things and it seems to take me to other articles about the same thing. So look for that in the show notes. That'll give you a link to be able to fly around what could be a future space station. We're getting through the show. I mean, we're getting through materials here.
Mhm.
And this I thought was a bit sketchy, but let's talk about it anyways. Samsung's Apple Vision Pro rival leak reveals September launch date.
Yeah, sure. The way Samsung just all the hype and then it just kind of dropped.
Yeah, Project Muhan. The device will be available in the Korean market starting October 13th and gradually roll out globally to global markets, as reported by Newspim. Do we have a price? Nope.
I'm sure it'll be about the same. I bet it'll be the same.
That's what rumors are.
Yep.
Hardware will have Qualcomm's XR2 Plus Gen 2 chipset from a 4 nanometer process by Samsung. And that's about all we know. And we have what looks like we have what looks like an AI generated version of what the headset's going to look like as part of the article. I think it's interesting that folks are competitors are trying to talk about their product before it's done, and I guess that's an unfair criticism because Apple talked about their product 18 months before it was done. And talked about it, and there was limited opportunity for people to actually try the device on at the developers conference. But this seems just so quick, and with less and less information about it. But I think even Apple went from 0 to 60. I mean, they said, "Hey, we're going to do this," and then the announcement was, "Hey, it's coming out on this date. You can pre-order it, and here's all that it does," without very little or anything in between. So who knows what's going on with Project Muhan? But supposedly we'll find out more about it September 29th, 2025, when it gets its unpacked, when Samsung has its unpacked event in South Korea. We'll find out when Muhan hits the market. They say the Korean market October 13th or 2 weeks after that. Daniel, you like to play with ideas of other virtual headsets. Any thoughts on this?
I mean, it's hard to have a lot of thoughts since there's not a lot out there. But
Yeah.
for what I would hope is that it will be a proper Vision Pro competitor. I don't think it's going to be much cheaper, if at all cheaper. And I think that could be reasons why we're not hearing a lot about it, and they don't want to talk about price or release. At least
Or
that's my
even,
theory.
yeah, or even capabilities,
Yeah, I mean,
other than a chipset.
I almost wonder. I don't know. Somehow, I immediately have Android tablet vibes. Because who buys an
Mm-hmm.
Android tablet?
What?
But like
Yeah.
iPads are like really the tablet to buy, right? Like there's not
Right.
there's far more software for iPads than there are for Android tablets, and I wonder if they'll have the same kind of conundrum there too, and only exacerbated by the fact that development for these platforms in general historically has been low, still is low, and
Mm.
you slap that tax on there too with them, it'd be even lower. So
Hey, I have an Android tablet. It sits up on my shelf. I power it
I was
up
going to
maybe
say,
once a year, trying to think if I can get it to do something. I get frustrated and I power it down and it goes back up on the shelf for another year. I bought a
it
low
collects
end
dust.
Android tablet, and then a friend, the guy I do Tech Savvy Professor with, he's Android, and he's like bought a really high end Android tablet, and I was like tempted to pull the trigger on it. It's like, why should I pay more money for something I'm not going to use
There
when
you go.
the cheap one doesn't seem to do the trick for me either? So,
Hmm.
Eric still, this is Eric Perry, who does the show with me. He still uses his Android stuff and the Android tablet, which has become very, his household uses it and loves it. So,
Hey, whatever
well,
makes them happy.
yeah, yeah. That's what makes the world go round.
That's right.
Then let's see, one show, and I don't know if this is pandering or not, but I wanted to share this link, and it's going to be in the show notes. It's been an interesting evolution for Jason Snell, and in a good way. This is a clip that he did during Mac Break Weekly. So I better shut it off so there's no competing stuff. But this was a short clip that was up on YouTube Shorts. And he's done some wonderful stuff with talking about Vision Pro evolution. And when I had time and when I still have time, if I have time, I listen to Mac Break Weekly. And Leo has not been a big fan from the beginning of Apple Vision Pro. And he was kind of mocking it. It's like, okay, now we're going to have to do our segment on Apple Vision Pro, our mandatory segment. And in this video, he kind of says, well, maybe I'll have to see the movie. I'll have to buy a Vision Pro and see the movie on it, because they're talking, I think, about Jason Snell seeing a movie on it instead of looking at it on any other platform. And so, yeah, it's a short little clip, but if you follow what Jason Snell's been writing about, and in six colors, I think he's in six
Yeah, in
colors.
six colors.
He's done an article on it, how it's evolved, and he always makes comments about it in terms of it being a device that he likes. So this came up in the feed this week, and I just kind of wanted to share that. And then
Sure.
something fun. Did you guys look at this?
I did.
You did?
It's kind of
It
funny.
is Jim meets Apple Vision Pro. And I'm doing the video right now. It's a short. And it's a guy doing doing a machine, where you pull the plates up.
Press.
And I won't ruin
Shoulder
it.
press.
Shoulder press, yeah. I won't ruin it. Well, maybe, I don't know. It's such a short video. But the idea is he has the Vision, he's wearing the Vision Pro, and he's seeing little kittens between the plates. And if he doesn't get the plate up and hold it up long enough and he lets go, he'll flatten the kittens. It's a little bit of humor, that cartoon humor that we have linked in the show. All right, Dave, you've got some stuff to share. You have a new Vision Pro. You have a couple of Vision Pro accessories.
This one's this is it here. This is the Kiwi design. It's a lens cover. So I got my Vision Pro here. It actually goes in the back here, and it covers the lenses, so it keeps it clean. So it keeps the dust out, and I find it to be a nice little gadget for protecting your investment. And it's only $13, and it's a small little device here, nothing crazy, and I think it works really well. And then, Spigen makes some great cases. They've always made some great cases for iPhones. They have this case here, and I've got the Apple case, and I'm not a huge fan of it, honestly. But this is the Spigen, the Cladston pouch. It's designed for the Vision Pro, and it's got some nice little pockets here. I've got it here, and this is right here, like a pillow cushion here that's in here. And they put, instead of having that little pouch like the Apple's case has, it's got this little container here that you can actually put stuff in here and zip it up and secure it. It's not a bad case. Even got some pouches at the front here. Puts the battery if you have an extra battery, and it's got some straps here and stuff. And it's not a bad looking case. I got the gray one. I think it comes in one other color, but maybe not. It's a charcoal gray, but it's a nice phone. It's a nice case, hard shell, and I like it. It was only $60 compared to, unfortunately, paid $199 for the Apple one. So
yeah, the Apple one. Daniel, what do you carry yours in?
I got some generic case. Well, I have different ones. So I have. Let me grab this one. It's just some generic. I can grab a link to it too. Some generic, like $13 one for like Quest stuff, and this is the one I leave on my desk and put it in. And then I have for travel. Let me slide over here and grab it. It's the meme U Carlos one as well, the small one. I use that one for travel because I can slip this into a backpack easier. Yeah, and I find I can get like my Anna Pro in there and in both of them pretty well. I have to do a little Tetris to get everything in the small one with traveling. But yeah.
Yeah, the Spigen case was announced, I think, even before the Vision Pro was out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was more expensive. It was like $70 or something like that, maybe $75. And I think my son has mine now because he was going to take his Meta with him on his road trip, his work trip. And I think I gave him that as a carrying case. The Spigen is a great case. It's got plenty of room. It's a great substitute
Yep.
for the Apple case. I bought the Apple case. It's sitting back there on the table. I use it. I feel ultra secure when I get to use it, but I don't use it much for the reasons that Daniel talked about. I want a case that I can put everything in and that I can stuff it in a backpack, or I have an over the shoulder bag that I take with me when I go on a plane. So I don't have to carry multiple things. And then when I need it, I can just pull it out of the bag. And then basically, when I'm on the plane, I'm going to use it. I have it in a smaller case. Spigen,
Yep.
again, very good case, very good. It doesn't require the breakdown that you need to do if you're going to be using some of the smaller cases. The smaller cases
Right.
advantage. I had the what did you call yours, Daniel? You
Yeah, you
Carlos?
Carlos, but there's like
Yeah,
12 other random keyboard slam your
yeah.
hand on the keyboard variants
And
of
I
it.
th- yeah, and I think I tried to find a you Carlos because I couldn't find mine. I suspect I gave it to my son. He took everything from my house that he might need for traveling and then traveled with a third of it. And most of my equipment is still at Will's house now that he's back and he's going to bring it all back. I bet you the Spigen case will be one of them and the U Carlos will be. But, one of those alternatives is this case, which is StarTex case. And again, it's one of those smaller shaped hard shell cases, but you do have to do quite a bit of packing to get stuff in there.
Yeah.
But it works and it creates a secure environment too. But for me, it's something that I can slip into my bag, whereas definitely the Apple, you can't do that easily. And plus, you're walking around with a big marshmallow, and
Yeah.
the marshmallow gets dirty. I've seen
It
posts
does.
from people going, "How do I clean this?" This
Right.
$199 case that I bought. So,
Hmm.
so you've got a good pick there, Dave, with both of those. And I need to
Oh,
look at yeah, go ahead.
no, I'll just mention you recommended the Belkin headband. I got it on here.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I have to put mine back on because I took it off to
Yeah.
deconstruct it, and when I was traveling, and I haven't put it back on yet, and I noticed the difference not having it on.
Oh yeah, I do too.
Um,
Good deal.
plus, I was using the med kit one,
Mhm.
and had to take the Belkin off for that purpose. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, some
Nope.
good stuff.
Very happy with this.
Yeah. Um, all right. So apps. Let's talk about apps. And I've got to clear up my stuff to get to um, this app. And again, I'm not sure if folks have used this. We might have talked about this in the past because I went in and I had apparently bought it or downloaded it, but didn't activate it or reload it. And this is the Spatial Media Toolkit. And I have a couple of links to it in the show notes. One is the link to the Apple site where you can see this, and and then open it in the Mac App Store if you want to. It's also available on iPhone, iPad, and Mac, so you can not only run this in the on your Apple Vision Pro, but you can run it in on other devices too. And it converts any photo or video to spatial. You can save them in your library, send them to your Vision Pro, and see it in 3D. I have the version of it that it's Spatial Media Kit. I have the version that when I loaded it and tried it again this afternoon, it I said restore purchases, and apparently I didn't purchase any of the levels that are available in it. but the costs if you're interested in purchasing it is you can get a monthly for $5.99, which will give you the pro level, which gives you different extended abilities and better AI to do your 3D conversions. You can get a year for $39.99, or you can get lifetime for $5.99 to get pro levels. So there are some pricing structures with this for depending on it. I would say this is one of these things that you want to find out what the pro level can do. Buy it for a week or buy it for a month, and then if you like it, then get an annual or get a lifetime. I took one 1 minute video I'd shot of me sitting in a car talking about something, and I don't know why I recorded it. It's probably just leftover crap. And ran it through this. And without the purchased AI version of it, it was kind of layered. It really didn't feel spatial. It felt like it had pulled my outline up and then separated it from other parts of the car, the rest of the car that I was in. It was okay, but it just didn't feel fluid enough or natural enough to go through it.
Mhm.
You know, and it was relatively easy to do. I gave it access to my photos, was able to pull my photo/video in. There was some layover of menus on top of choices, and I couldn't figure out how to get the layover off of it. So that was a little confusing for me in the moment. I might go in and spend the money to see what the paid version of it does, and if it brings any better spatial conversion to it. We've seen these spatial conversion 2D photos to 3D photo apps before in Vision Pro, and this is okay. Although it's probably better rated than the other one. Um, and I don't know, if do you guys have any interest in the photography and video stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eh.
So let's look at the one that actually this is the one that I first loaded this afternoon, thinking it was the one that I just talked about. And it is Spatial Video Studio. This was interesting in terms of its conversion process and the experience of it. It has a pricing structure similar to the pricing structure, a little bit more pricey, I guess. But you have more options like a 3-month plan if you want to do that, or a monthly plan. Um, I like the output of this better than I liked the output of the previous one. So you might go in, and again, this is available on multiple platforms. You might go in and just download both of them and play with them and see how the process works for you, and then make a decision if you're into doing spatial video, then going ahead and taking a shot at it. Decide which one you want to put money into, or put money into both. But it is pretty good in terms of the conversion, pretty easy in terms of the conversion process, pulling basically stuff that you have in your photo folder to be able to do. The last app we're going to talk about is Immersive RC Car. And is that yours, Daniel?
Yeah. Yeah, and I saw that on Reddit like you did. It's a fun little, I'm gonna lump that into the toy apps. But you can pair a game controller, so I was just using my Xbox controller and just drive a little RC car around your real world. Um, it's fun. It's just a fun little toy. You can it actually responds to the world. So like since it's mapping your world, it knows the walls. So like you can literally go and crash into your walls, crash into the table. I built a little ramp and drove the car up the ramp and did a donut rather, on the coffee table in my living room. That was just fun. And it's just fun that it's reactive to the real world. And even some little touches like the headlights and taillights of the car, like, were actually projected onto the walls, and you could see them as if it was a real. And that was just fun and neat and cool. And so it's a fun little toy. Go pair your Xbox controller if you have one. It's free. Try it out. Just play around. But I'd actually like to see more little interactive games like that interact with your real world and let you build on it. Real augmented reality gaming in that sense.
Yeah. It has some in-app purchases. It's free, so you can try it free. But if you want to unlock the developer car, it's $9. Or if you want to unlock a 1981 DeLorean DMC-12, let me guess, that's Back to the Future car, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now that's $1.99. I'd pay $1.99 to drive one of these around. Brings me back to memories of high school, driving a station wagon in Reese Park on snowy days, the Reese Park parking lot, doing donuts and drinking Crown Royal while we were doing it. Damn, those were the good old days.
Yeah.
So those are the apps for tonight, and we're going to wrap the show here pretty quickly. I do want to mention Macstock. Macstock 9 is coming July 11th, 12th, and 13th in Crystal Lake, Illinois, close to Woodstock, Illinois. Dave is going to be there. Dave, you are presenting on Capture. Is that right?
I'm doing screen capture apps, and the theme of it based on share. That's so that the theme of the show is this year. So I'm sharing my views on how to screen capture all across all of your Apple devices, including some third-party apps that work really well on the Mac.
And we're going to have a meetup for Vision Pro people. So folks who have Vision Pro, we're going to find an evening, probably Saturday evening, and do a Vision Pro meetup where folks who haven't come together. And we're talking about doing some sort of shared theater experience, maybe, and demoing that with the group with the headsets on. But it's a great experience, Macstock. You can find out everything you need to know at MacstockConferenceandExpo.com. It's 3 days of workshops, training, community. I'll be presenting on Apple Intelligence. And I'll be doing a presentation with my son on sort of gear. Actually, it's going to be more like of a show us your favorite gear and win a door prize. And we're going to have some fun with the group near the end of the conference is when that presentation is. So Max.conferenceandexpo.com. The link will be in the show. If you can go. If you can go, great. You get $50 off with the code PodTalk50. And that's great. We'll see you there. You'll have 3 days of great community. If you can't go, there are virtual tickets that can be sold. So a month after the show, you can get all the streaming of all the presentations. And that will, that's, I think, $99. I'm not looking at the page now, but it's a good deal for that too. You miss the community. You miss getting away from the job. You miss telling all your friends you're going to be busy for 3 days. Please don't try to contact me. You miss all of those perks of being on site. But it's a fun conference and a fun time. And take a look at the website. Maybe get some ideas and some inspiration. So that's that. Guys, anything else to say for the evening?
No, good show.
I want to remind folks to follow our feed if you're subscribed to us either in YouTube or on any of your podcasts, because we're introducing these every other day, 5-minute kind of drops of news that's occurred with Vision Pro. So it's going to help me get organized for a show so I'm not doing it all in one day. And it'll be a 5 to 10 minute drop where we'll talk about, and it'll be in the feed for your Vision Profiles feed that you can catch and hear an article that came out in that week and that we're probably going to talk more about on the show the next Monday. So take a look at Vision Pro notes within the Vision Profiles feed. Thanks for tuning in. We'd love to hear from our listeners. If you have ideas or want to join in an episode, email us at visionprofilespodcast@gmail.com. Our bumper music is Free Jazzy by Steve Combs, courtesy of the Free Music Archive. Learn about us and the Vision Profile podcast at our website, thepodtalk.net. Spread the news to visionaries. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.